Hari Om. So we'll start this session with question answers. So please, okay. So we'll start with first question and then be prepared. So
Pranam Swamiji. Just wanted to ask you about what is surrender in real world, surrender to God in real world.
Hari Om. So the question is, what is surrender? The meaning of surrender changes as we evolve. So at the basic level, surrender means just doing what pleases the Lord. Obedience. So if you ask this question, what is surrender? No, I don't know from which level you want that. Surrender basically involves effacing the ego, and it basically involves discipline, it involves obedience, it involves faith. Right? It involves so many things. And at the seat of meditation, again the surrender will have a different meaning. So, if you want a specific answer, the question has to be specific.
So in day-to-day life, in one of the lectures, or many times we say, surrender to God and do your things right.
So when it comes to receiving karma phala, surrender to God means accepting the karma phala cheerfully, without questioning, without grumbling. So cheerful acceptance of choiceless situation can be called as surrender, with respect to karma phala.
Hari Om Swamiji. My question is about meditation, the last lecture that we talked about. I had heard before that one can only do meditation if our mind is pure. And Swamiji suggested that we should, instead of looking outward, we look inward, starting with observing our thoughts. But what exactly can we start with, assuming our mind is not pure at this moment? So, for example, tomorrow, I want to sit and start. I mean, as Swamiji suggested, our mind will go all over the place. Start with just observing the thoughts. But what exactly can we do to turn it inwards? What Swamiji said, like looking inward, meaning like, do we just say observe our breath, or what exactly is inward? So,
see, did you observe that mind is wandering? So what has happened? An experience has happened. What is the experience? You saw the mind going here and there. So have you not emerged wiser after meditation? Yes or no? You are not able to control the thought. That's a different matter. But a great experience has happened. You came to know that there is mind. You came to know that there are thoughts. You came to know that these thoughts are going here and there. So what has happened? An experience has happened, right? So this way, slowly, very many truths of the mind gets revealed. Now, once you have seen the wandering mind, naturally a desire comes. How can I stop this? Suppose you don't do meditation. Even this meditation you don't do. Will the desire to conquer the mind ever come? So therefore, in that sense, you are successful. Yes or no? Yes. Every time you will see an obstacle and suddenly the desire comes, how to win over this obstacle? Then you start becoming serious about the solution. Till then you are not serious about the solution of wandering the mind. Unless we see the problem, we are not serious about the solution. So this way, slowly as you go within, you will encounter one problem. Now in this case, it's the wandering mind. Naturally a question comes, why the mind is wandering? Then the first talk becomes relevant to you. What is the first talk? Conquering the wild mind. Oh, you understand, okay, raga is the problem. Okay, these are the places where I'm attached. That is why the mind is wandering. Now that solution makes sense because you are suffering from a problem. And how did you know that you are suffering from that problem? You have looked within, therefore you came to know. You see, if you don't look within, then there won't be any problem. Problem is there, but you are not aware of the problem. So you will never be serious about the solution also. Okay. So as and when you encounter the problem, you will find somewhere or the other the cosmos finds the solution for you. Right.
Hari Om Swamiji. This is about the mind. So when we studied other books like Tattvabodha or Vivek Chudamani or even Bhagavad Gita, there were discussions about creation of the world. In that we learned that the mind is kind of sattvic as well as rajasic, because the jnanendriyas are made with the sattvic aspect of, and the prakriti, and then the karmendriyas from the rajasic. So if the mind is intrinsically sattvic, and then where did it fall apart? How did that happen? Is it always me who is responsible, like my vasanas which made it harbor and attract these negative thoughts? What happened to sattvic aspect? Why it is kind of hidden there? Because later when we start working on this and try to get the positive thoughts or good thoughts, then it looks like it is sattvic. But then what is actually controlling this, between sattvic aspect and also, rajasic aspect in the mind?
No, I have not understood. I didn't understand the question.
So what I mean is, if the mind is made with the sattvic aspect, okay, and then rajasic aspect, why it always attracts these negative thoughts and then...
No, see, mind is basically sattvic, because it is made of sattvic constituents. That is why a sattvic mind, since it is nearer to its nature, you enjoy a sattvic mind. We are not able to enjoy a rajasic mind. We are only enjoying, compared to tamasic state, rajasic state is more enjoyable. Compared to rajasic, sattvic mind is more peaceful. So the mind is more peaceful means what? Mind is closer and closer to its nature. As we go closer and closer to our nature, there is peace. Mind is made of sukshma panchamahabhutas. So therefore mind is sukshma. Sukshma means what? Which cannot be perceived by the sense organs. So,
but it is easier to attract the negative thoughts and hold them than positive thoughts.
That is because of lack of knowledge. Mind is identified with the body. So with this wrong notion, these negative thoughts are arising. See, there is a reason behind every thought. If the knowledge itself is faulty, then all the thoughts emerging from that knowledge will be faulty. For example, there is a rope and you are seeing a snake. Now all the thoughts which emerge in your mind will be faulty. Why? Because the knowledge itself is faulty. What is the wrong knowledge? This is a snake. Oh, how to kill it? Should I kill it or not? How come the snake come here? In this area there is no, I have never seen a snake, but now I am seeing it. Should I kill it or should I escape it or where should I throw it? All thoughts are faulty. Why? Knowledge is faulty. So why mind is entertaining all kinds of faulty Imaginations. Because the knowledge is faulty. What is a faulty knowledge? I am the body knowledge. Got it?
Yes. Thank you.
Right.
Namaste, Swami. Is the Nama Japam has any value in controlling the mind, or when the mind wanders, when we have to fall back, is Nama Japam has any value? Does it help?
Will Nama Japa help in conquering the mind? Correct? Everything depends on what you have understood about the name of the Lord. What is your understanding? This should be another question, counter question which I will ask you. When you are doing Nama Japa, for you, Nama means what? If it is just a sound, then nothing will happen. The understanding behind Nama will decide the result of Nama Japa. So that is why all this study is important. What is this God? So once you have a clear understanding about God, the name of God makes sense to you. Suppose I utter some name. You don't know what it is. But suppose I utter the name of your grandchild. Suddenly it makes a lot of sense. Why? Because you know what it is. The thing and the name of the thing, they are very much related. The name of the thing takes the mind to the thing. But suppose you don't have any idea about the thing, then the name is just a mere sound. But when we study the scriptures, then slowly we get greater and greater clarity about God, His nature, His goodness. Then that name is Amrita. But if you don't have any idea about God, name is a mere sound. So such people, when they do Nama Japa, they say, it's all useless, waste of time.
Study the Bhagavatam or Krishna stories,
yes,
then I develop that love for him, then it helps. Otherwise it doesn't.
Yes, to the extent your understanding is clear, to that extent there will be devotion in your heart for Bhagavan's name. And to the extent devotion is there, to that extent this name, can completely take you away from all kinds of miseries, problems, etc. The moment you chant the name, your mind goes to the God. And God, it is Ananda Swarupa. The moment you think of Ananda Swarupa Bhagavan, mind has to be filled with Ananda. So everything depends on knowledge. That is why Nahitnyanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. There is no greater purifier than knowledge. Knowledge is everything.
Thank you, Swami.
Here.
Hari Om Swamiji, this is in context with yesterday we were talking about raga, and typically moms have some raga with their children. It's a continuous battle. A lot of us experience this, and you also mentioned how we need to push the younger generations to come to satsang or spread this knowledge. But it's an everyday battle that we kind of lose. And I try to console myself and surrender that, okay, this is my raga, that's why it's giving me kind of unhappiness, that what I want my child to do is not happening, kind of a thing. I give up. But there's always a sort of guilt feeling at the back of the mind that somewhere as a parent, the responsibility is not being properly conducted by me, like wherein I'm not pushing hard enough, or maybe it's too late to push now. I don't know how to go about that also. So how do you balance this fine line? Where do you say, okay, I have done what I can, it's up to you, Bhagwan. Yes, I say that eventually to kind of, I have to move on, kind of a thing. So, but still, how do you kind of come over this raga?
So the question is basically parenting. When you are mothering your child in a karma yoga spirit, you will not have this problem. But generally, mothers don't. In this world, there is no easy sadhana. It is a tapas. The whole spiritual path is a path of tapas. It has nothing to do with whether you are a mother or a father or a professional. Everyone has their own challenges. So, what is generally the mistake committed by mothers? As she takes care of the child, she forgets a great truth, that this child belongs to God. Instead, what comes in? Mamakara comes in. This is my child. See, whenever you suffer, you are always divorced from reality. You will always observe this. Suffering and ignorance, they go together. Peace and knowledge, they go together. Now just observe, this child is growing in the womb. Who is taking care of the child? You all say Bhagavan, but we conveniently ignore this fact. The mother knows only to eat and drink. Really, is the Lord who is taking care of the child. Are you consciously again and again bringing this reality into your mind? I am not the one. It is the Lord who is taking. I don't even know what is happening there. I don't even know what the condition of the child is. Whether the fellow is sleeping inside or not. Whether the fellow is eating or not. I don't know. Oh Lord, great. Inside my body something is happening and I am not aware. Every moment, again and again bring this truth into your mind that it is not me. I am only an instrument in bringing this child out. Really speaking, my role is 0%. 100% it is the Lord who is taking care. Again, when the child is there, your heart is filled with great noble emotions. Emotions of love, of compassion, of patience. Literally, if you see, a mother is an embodiment of all virtues as far as the child is concerned. It's impossible to think how a mother can, with so much of patience. Many times she has to give up her sleep because the fellow cries in the middle of the night. Little babies and all. It's impossible to think how a human being can go through so much of suffering and still be happy while taking care of this. Useless little nothing. It's of no use. This baby actually, it doesn't give you anything. You have to clean it, you have to feed it, in between and all kinds of disease also. But still, here is a person happily, joyfully, patiently, lovingly taking care. Who gave you this ability? Before you became a mother, these abilities were not in you. You don't express these abilities with respect to so many other people in the society. Only towards this child. So at that time you should realize, this love which I am experiencing, it is not mine. It is coming from a divine source. I am just an instrument through which it is flowing. It is not mine. I have not cultivated these virtues. It is just being expressed. So every stage in life, if you can disown these noble divine virtues which you are seeing in yourself, right, then you are a true karma yogi. This child belongs to God. These abilities in me belongs to God. These noble emotions belong to God. I am just an instrument through which the music is flowing. If you can all the time detach yourself, you will find that you become a best mother for the child. You are able to detach yourself. And therefore, you become a perfect gardener for the seed to sprout and grow. You know what the gardener does? Gardener doesn't force anything on the plant. The gardener just provides sunlight, manure, whatever is needed, weed is removed, that's all. And allows the plant to grow at its own pace. In the same way, a mother, if she can do this, taking this rearing the child as karma yoga spirit. I am only an instrument in the hands of the Lord. This child belongs to God. So I should do my best to bring out all the noble virtues in this child. That's all what I have to do. The child has its own vasanas. Let it take. But my job is to become a good mother. Many times what happens, in the name of love, we suffocate the child. Because of this raga. I have certain ideas about how the child should be and I impose it upon the child. And then what happens? The relationship becomes strained. It's all because ahankara and mamakara. I and mine. I am this and this is my child. And so many times, out of frustration, I shout at my child. Yes or no? All these happen. Wherever, remember, wherever kama is there, krodha will be there. Kama means what? Intense attachment. What else? And this krodha, relationship is strained. But suppose you have this kind of healthy detachment, then there is no krodha. So therefore, if in true karma yoga spirit, if you can do, not only that, you will be a wonderful mother, you become an inspiration for the child also. The child sees, see my mother, so many difficulties, but she is all the time calm, quiet, undisturbed, peaceful, ever inspiring. So these virtues, when we show in our personality, the child is also inspired. Let us understand one thing, parenting is not preaching. Parenting is demonstrating. I have to live and show. I have to become an example for my child. Then the child sees and grows. Yadyad acharati sreshtaha tat tat eva itaraha janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokaha tat anuvartate. Sayat pramanam kurute, that is the word used, remember. Means what? What he demonstrates, others follow. So we have to demonstrate and show how not to get angry, how to be cheerful, how to be peaceful, how to be balanced, how to be impartial, how to be sattvic while handling situations. You set yourself the example and then see how the child grows. So whose fault is it? I am not saying the child is perfect. No. Because mother is asking this question, I am answering a mother. You understood? So let us not blame anyone. Let us blame only ourselves. Let us correct ourselves and slowly you will find as you reform, the world around you also starts reforming. Right. Answered? Okay.
Hari Om Swamiji. You mentioned that for meditation, whenever you are having negative thoughts, you have to try to replace it with the right thinking from scriptures. But what if I have not read much of the scriptures and is still growing in that path? How do I get the right sets of thinking to replace the negative thinking? Another question is...
No, wait. First question. There is no choice but to join some study group. Where do you come from? Naperville. So we have Badri Center there nearby. Join the classes. Swamiji, I have not attended study classes. Give me some technique, no? I can't.
No, until then, can I not meditate?
Meditate and struggle with the imperfections. Then you will show greater interest in study classes. Because you will get all solutions there. Suffering is always a blessing. When you suffer from hunger, you know the value of food. When you suffer from thirst, you know the value of water. When you suffer from a wandering, disturbed, wild mind, you know the value of self-knowledge. So meditation is always a blessing. how much this knowledge is, how much precious it is. You know only when you struggle. Isn't it?
Swamiji, to continue this question, let's say I started meditation because somebody said it's good to do meditation. And I don't know anything about these thoughts, right thinking. Now, I hear Swamiji saying, okay, you need to join study group or anything. Who directs that person to have that idea that you need to go to satsang, or there is a Chinmaya mission next door to you? I may be driving by 10 times. I don't know what Chinmaya mission is about. So how does that person can be helped? Unless he looks around, but is there any way somebody approaches him, or how does that person get the notion to even think about scriptures, satsang, and things like that? Otherwise, he just keeps struggling.
See, the cosmos takes care of it. When you are fit, you stumble upon such institutions. It's not an accident that you are here. Not an accident. Somewhere some punya karma you must have done, because of which a desire comes. Some talks are going, let me attend. There are millions of people in the city, but nobody comes. Why you came? So there is a cosmic plan. Once the child is ready to leave the womb, mother's milk is ready. Yes or no? So that is a cosmic plan. When you are fit, you are exposed to this knowledge in a mysterious way. So everyone, every moment is guided beautifully by the Lord. You don't have to worry.
Can I ask my other question?
Another question.
So the negative thought that we have to replace with the right thinking, does it always come in pair? Like this negative thought should be replaced with this, or how does that work? What do you mean by replacing with the right?
See, when your thinking is negative, how do you know your thinking is negative?
Something does not feel right.
Yes, you become miserable. Yeah. Correct? So when you are miserable, dejected, depressed, it is a state of mind, it is an effect, so it has to have a cause. So you go back, cause hunting. Why am I disturbed? Oh, this particular incident is disturbing me. What did I do in that particular incident? Oh, such words I spoke, such words I heard. Okay, what was the content? Then you go into, then you come to know that some hurt words had come from you, some hurting words had come from the other person, and it hurt you. You understood? Then you analyze. Why is it that this person spoke these words and I became hurt? Oh, use the scriptures. Greater the ego, greater the hurt feeling. Okay, so such a person used such words and I'm hurt, not because of that person, because of my own bloated ego. Okay, Lord, thank you very much. That person mentally prostrate, because that person has shown you some imperfection in you. That person has become a mirror. You understood? Now you have to work where? There or here? I will not talk to that person. This is the worldly way. Right? No, I will improve here. Till now I was not aware of this ego in me. That person has showed that it is there. So I have to work here. You see? So this is the way you replace the negative with the positive. Right thinking. Scriptural based thinking. So over a period of time, what will happen? Others are using hurting words and your mind is at peace. Why? You have worked here. You have literally effaced the ego. As the ego gets effaced, you will find that the hurting words from others are not affecting you. That is always a proof that you are growing spiritually. You understand?
Thank you.
Right.
Hari Om Swamiji, I have a question and difficult to understand. That day you said that in world there are so many people so poor that they have a hard time to feed their children or family, and they are working very hard, and next door the rich person has no problem, and you say God is taking care of everything. I'm not convinced. How do you explain that?
So rich people, they are enjoying life, poor people are suffering. So therefore, what is the conclusion? God is partial? God is cruel? You will always find that if you come to this conclusion, your mind will not be at peace. Let me tell you one thing, whatever happens in this world, it is perfect. A spiritual person should start from this point. God cannot make a mistake. Why? God cannot make a mistake because He is omniscient. He knows everything. He is Sarvajna. An all-knower cannot make a mistake. People like us, we can make mistakes. We don't know much. We only know a little something. But all-knowing God, how can He make a mistake? So then, if somebody is rich, there is a reason. If somebody is poor, there is a reason. And always understand, this world is nothing but karma, karma phala. That's it. Whatever you do comes back to you. As you sow, so shall you reap. This is a law. So, I must have done something in the past because of which today I am suffering poverty. Isn't it? No accidents happen in this world. To give some one example, if I have disrespected food in the past, today I will suffer the shortage of food. It's a law. Whatever you disrespect in this cosmos, it will be taken away from you. And you will suffer because of that. It's a law. So I am suffering poverty because somewhere I have disrespected all the basic needs of this thing. And this you will find among the rich children. They have no value for food. They have no value for anything. Why? Everything is in plenty. So therefore, cosmos has its way to make you realize the importance of a thing. If I am wasting food, going to a restaurant, I don't like, throw it away. If this is the way I behave, a time will come when the cosmos will put you in a place where you understand the value of food. I hope you are understanding. I am just giving one example. Right? This is the law of cosmos. If you are grateful to cosmos, the cosmos will give you more and more. But if you are thankless, if you are arrogant, if you are ungrateful, whatever you have will be taken away from you. It's a law. So that we understand the value of everything. You understand the value of a thing when you don't have that thing, isn't it? Did you understand what I am saying? Are you? So in this birth, he is a rich man, no value for anything. Next birth, there is all the possibility that he will be poor. Or maybe in this birth itself. You understand? The cosmos is designed to make us sensitive. The cosmos is designed to make us grateful to everything. If we behave irresponsibly, then we have to pay a price for it. In short, this whole world is functioning based on karma. Karma, karma phala. I do good, good comes to me. I do bad, precisely it comes back to me. So what is the best way of remaining happy? Go on doing good. Go on thinking good, speaking good. Only do good. Then only good will happen to you. Don't blame God. And one more thing. Just because you are seeing something in front of you, there are so many things which has happened in the past which we are not aware. Only a small thing we are seeing. There is a lot in the past that has happened. What is this person's past? We don't know. Whereas God knows his past, what he has been doing in this birth, in the previous birth, what all karmas he has done. Accordingly, karma phala is given to him. Whereas we are seeing only a small patch, few years of a person. Oh, this person is so nice. I don't know why God is doing all this thing to him. We are seeing only few years of that person, remember. Whereas God knows his entire past, history of the past. So who will have a bigger picture, clearer picture? Lord. So therefore, whatever he does is perfect. Did I answer your question, sir? Okay.
Hari Om Swamiji. Thanks for explaining a lot of tips for us for decision making yesterday, and it was helpful. So my question is about decision making again. I know you gave us tips about when we are making the decision, please make sure that you are in a sattvic mood, and totally you are thinking about the welfare of totality, several things you mentioned. But in general, a person thinks that he has a self-confidence that he understands all those. But sometimes, as a person, we don't understand those, right? We are in a perception that we understand that I am in a sattvic mood, I understand the totality of the welfare, but when somebody double checks that, maybe we don't meet that line. So my humble request to you, can you give us some tips how to check that I am in a right state to make the decision? I know you gave the things about it. One of the things I could think was meditation may give us that ability to judge on it, but I would like to hear. Thank you.
If you are connected to God, if your mind is sattvic, then whatever that sattvic mind says will be perfect answer. It will be a perfect decision. So whenever such important decisions are to be taken, first pray. Try to tune yourself to God. Efface the ego and sincerely seek guidance from the Lord. Bhagavan, please guide me. I am totally confused regarding this. I need your guidance. With all humility when you pray, that mind becomes free from all impurity. It intuitively brings out an answer. Just trust it. That is going to be the answer. The more you are tuned to God, your decision is going to be perfect. Generally, what obstructs perfect decision making is the ego. The moment you become selfish, the picture is blurred. It's all the ego's problem only, all the time. Then, smaller role becomes more important than the bigger role. I and mine becomes more important than the totality. It is all because of ego. So at that seat of meditation, when I sincerely bow down, surrender and seek guidance, you are effacing the ego. And the law is, when the ego vanishes, Lord enters. This is the law. So when the heart is filled with that divine presence, the mind is very pure, the mind is very sattvic, the intellect is bright. In such a moment, whatever intuitively you feel as the right decision, just stick to it. So in the morning, if that is a decision taken, you will find that by afternoon, suddenly you start feeling, no, I don't think that is right. Don't listen to it. You understand? When the mind becomes rajasic, it will try to change its decision. Don't change. Stick to whatever has been told in the morning, when the mind is sattvic. So you'll find that you will never err.
So Swamiji, in Kindle Life we think about mind and intellect. Mind being the receiving clerk, intellect being the, dispatching clerk. And so you always think in terms of consulting intellect. Is there a time, how do you consult your intellect at every single decision? Is there you pause, or the right or wrong decision comes to your mind if you are tuned to it? Or there is a training to think make decision through intellect and not mind alone. So,
see, every day if you are meditating, you clearly know whether the decision is taken by the mind or the intellect. If you regularly make it a habit to look within, you clearly see these two voices, the voice of the mind, the tempting voice of the mind, and the guiding light of the intellect. Two things very clearly you see. Always we take wrong decisions when the mind is agitated. So in the agitated state, never take decisions. But a person who is, regular in his sadhana, this problem doesn't come. Problem comes to people who don't have any kind of spiritual this thing.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Oh.
next.
So I'll go. I have one question on intellect.
Mic is off.
Okay, my question is on intellect. So can intellect itself be on the wrong path? Perhaps, due to certain way of grooming or environment or something else, not having knowledge. And I have seen this happening environmentally, right? If you are in a wrong environment, your intellect itself get colluded.
You are absolutely right. Intellect can be wrong. In fact, most of the time intellect is wrong. So what do we do when we come to study group? What is study group? It is nothing but strengthening the intellect by teaching the intellect right way to think. There are so many wrong ways of thinking. And the intellect is convinced that this is right. For example, terrorists, according to them, killing everyone is a way to heaven. Isn't it? And they are convinced about it. From where did they get that information? Somebody brainwashed them. And so therefore they are misled. So intellect can be trained in right thinking. Intellect can be trained in wrong thinking also. So intellect need not be always right. That is where the importance of study of the scriptures come. We are trained to think in the right way. Such an intellect will become our friend. The other intellect, of course, it is our enemy. We have to learn our lessons through hard way. That is the thing. So if the intellect is taking wrong decisions, the end result will be pain and sorrow. And this is where we introspect. Where did I go wrong? Because now I am suffering. Then we come to know, oh, my knowledge was wrong. And therefore, my action was wrong. So yes, intellect can be wrong. Why not? Otherwise, what is the use of study class, studying the scriptures? Right.
Hari Om Swami. Regarding the question, the discussion about the whole world runs on the karma basis. Sometimes when we think that hard, when we see somebody suffering, our heart may not be that sensitive. We say that, that is, how do you overcome that? Not develop that hardness, still keep the sensitivity in your heart and do the right thing.
When somebody suffers, you tend to say that, that is his karma, let him suffer. Correct?
Yeah.
Then that becomes your karma, remember?
Yes.
Somebody is suffering in front of you and you could have saved that person and you are not doing anything. Remember, that becomes a papa karma. Because you are an instrument in the Lord's hand, maybe in order to alleviate the suffering of that person. So never think of this philosophy that, no, everybody is suffering there, why should I bother? No. If you are in a position to wipe the tears of somebody who is suffering in front of you, and if God has empowered you, you must immediately do it, irrespective, because we don't know what karma it is. It is all our imagination, isn't it? Maybe it is his punya karma that you are there in front of that person. So our thinking always should be, let me try to do good to others as best as I can.
I have one more question. Perhaps this could be a two-question. It could be a two-part question. Is swadharma based on mind or intellect of the species, or is it different altogether? And then, is there a risk of following swadharma as it could be in sync with mind rather than everything else, anything else, especially at the younger age? I'm just trying to understand whether it is coming from mind aspect.
In swadharma, there are both involved, both the intellect and the mind. I love doing it and it is right. That is called swadharma. For example, a profession, when we choose a profession. I love doing it because my vasanas are there in that, say painting or dance or whatever. But I am allowed to do it only if it is contributing to the welfare of the society. Just because I like it doesn't mean that I should do it. I like smoking, therefore I will smoke. No, it is not good for you. Whereas I like dancing, I like painting, I like something which is useful for the society. The intellect, what does it say? Yes, it is contributing to the welfare of the society, so therefore go ahead. So intellect is also involved, mind is also involved. Such things we must do. Then there is an opportunity to exhaust the vasanas. When those activities are done as a worship of the Lord, existing vasanas get exhausted. So yes, in swadharma, both mind and intellect is involved. Yes. Did I answer?
At the same time, the first question I felt when I was listening to you and at the starting of the swadharma discussion, I was perhaps confused whether we are talking only about human as a species, or are we talking, I was relating it to the animal as species.
In
different
animals there is no
also.
Confusion.
No, but
because they are forced to remain in their swadharma.
Correct.
Where there is freedom, there is confusion. Where there is no freedom, there is no confusion. In animal kingdom, you don't see any freedom. In Satyuga also cow was eating grass. In Kali Yuga also cow is eating grass.
Okay. So I was thinking the other way around, because the freedom in the animal kingdom, I found it was...
There is no freedom there. Maybe little freedom. Should I graze here or should I graze there? That's all.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
There is no freedom.
Sure.
All problem for human race comes because of freedom. And why so much of freedom is given? So much of freedom is given because he is the most evolved. See, as your child grows up, you give more and more freedom to your child, isn't it? In the same way, the father and mother of the universe, the Lord, gives more and more freedom once we start evolving. And the highest evolution is human being. So maximum freedom is given. So freedom is a double-edged weapon. You can use it, you can misuse it. That's why so much of discussion. No study class is needed for cows and tigers. Right.
Hari Om Swamiji. I need some clarification because you use the term meditation throughout the sessions. On one end of the spectrum, we have this Patanjali Yoga Sutras where meditation, the way I understand it, dhyana, as the stage before samadhi. So much of preparation is needed before we get into meditative stage. And even when we set the regular time for doing meditation, we have to do some preparation. You just can't walk into shrine and start meditating. So either you read the holy books or listen to devotional songs and so on. And on the second hand, other forum is in the self-inquiry. But here most of seem to me like a more deep thinking as to why am I unhappy, and so can you clarify on those different terms and what exactly are we doing? Is it more like what we call in Kannada, we call it mantana, chintana mantana type thing, as against dhyana itself, where we have the continuous flow of your thought going towards your ishta? Appreciate your answer. Thank you so much.
See, the whole of meditation is, in the beginning, your mind is filled with worldly thoughts. Then you replace the worldly thought with spiritual thought. Now, what should be the end of result of spiritual thought? A thoughtless state where there is only consciousness. So there are stages. The worldly thought is replaced by spiritual thought. And what is the spiritual thought? You are not this, you are the consciousness. So all spiritual thought is turning your attention towards consciousness. So once your attention is totally into consciousness, do you need a thought? Once you have identified with consciousness, do you need thought? So thought drops. So there is a place where you have to entertain thoughts, and there is a place where you have to drop the thoughts. So what you should do at the seat of meditation depends on where you are. Remember the pole vault example. You run, there is a stage where you have to climb the pole, and there is a stage where you have to drop the pole. You can't drop the pole in the beginning itself. Then you will be in the ground only. You can't hold on to the pole after reaching the top also. Then you will never go the other side. Isn't it? So what is this climbing the pole? Tamas to Rajas, Rajas to Sattva. By the time the pole is straightened up, you are on the peak. Mind is sattvic. At that time, what are you supposed to do? Drop the mind. So at the seat of meditation, what should I do? Depends on where you are. If you are in the middle of the pole, dropping the pole will not help. Isn't it? If you have not climbed the pole, learn to climb the pole. So what you should do depends on where you are. Many people struggle to replace the worldly thought with the spiritual thought. They are struggling there itself. To ask them to drop all the thoughts is... Right. Some people struggle with sleep. They easily drop all the thoughts. But that is not... It is like dropping the pole even before climbing it. You understand? What instruction will you give them? Isn't it? So the instruction will depend on where you are.
Swamiji again. This is about swadharma again, going back to the previous question. In Gajendra Moksham, we learned that the croc was killed because the Kari, surrendered to Hari, right? So, if all the prey of that croc understands that surrendering to Hari helps them, then croc will die of starving, right? Because there will be no food for croc.
What is that? I didn't understand. What is that?
So, the crocodile, the swadharma of crocodile is to live on the animals, basically.
Correct.
It has to get an animal. It cannot live on the grass.
Correct.
So, that is its swadharma. So, croc went and got the curry, that's the elephant, to eat it because it is starving and it has to eat. And that was its swadharma. It was following its swadharma. And when this elephant surrendered to Hari, that is God, then God killed the croc and the elephant was saved. If all the prey understands that surrendering to the God helps them, then
all
the prey, meaning
prey.
Yeah, all the fish, any animal.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they understand that, then croc will be dying of starving, right? Because it will not have any food.
Correct.
So my question is, croc was following its swadharma. That's its nature. Then there should be some logic behind it, why it got killed when the elephant is surrendered.
Bhagavatam tells the logic that crocodile is not ordinary crocodile. It is some Gandharva or somebody, because of the curse it has come. There is a story. So actually crocodile attained its swadharma by dying.
Okay.
It is a Gandharva, it's not a crocodile. So Bhagavan, 2 in 1. Gajendra is also liberated. The fellow in that crocodile body also is liberated. Okay.
Thank you, Swami.
Hari Om. Swamiji, in my half-baked knowledge, just want to ask the question which we talked about. Animals, cows, dogs, they are all not gone to the level of human beings. But we all know in Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's ashram, there is a cow, there is a crow, dogs, they all attained, moksham. So, how can we say that only human beings can attain, or we have evolved compared to animals?
See, exceptions cannot be the rule. No? There are exceptional cases. These are all exceptions.
So does that mean there is no God for animals?
Only I will answer the one who has the mic.
Hari Om Swamiji. My head started spinning as you see the misery and you don't act upon it, and the karma comes back to you. When I go to India, and if I try to help at the crossroads someone, 58 people crowd around me, and then I say, heck with you guys, What should I think? Should everybody's karma come to me?
No, are you miserable after that?
Yes, I feel bad.
That is your mistake. You forgot a great truth that you are not the one who is feeding others. There is a Lord there. And He's beautifully taking care of all these beggars.
So, what should I think?
Whatever you can give. And happily come back. Because our resources are limited. So, the amount of help that we can give others also is limited. Let us accept this. Our resources are limited, isn't it? So whatever good you can do it, thank the Lord that you are able to give, and come back happily.
Thank you.
Hari Om Swamiji. I'm here, Swamiji. Swamiji, when we talk about manas, it is told it is of the nature of sankalpa vikalpatmaka nature. But in the sadhana, when we talk, it is to bring the mind to sattvic state. So, when the nature of the manas is of that sankalpa vikalpatmaka, what does that mean to bring it to sattvic state?
See, the flow of thoughts have got different names depending upon its function. When it is decisive in nature, very clear, then the flow of thought is called intellect. When it is doubtful in nature, the very same flow of thought is called mind. When it is recollective in nature, the very same flow of thought is called chitta. When it is, trying to find its own identity, the very same flow of thought is called ahankara. So, it is basically flow of thought. But depending upon the content, we give a name. Depending upon the content, we are giving different names. That's all. Oh, it's 5 o'clock. Yeah, please.
Can you explain Brahma Muhurta? And what are the good times to meditate in a day? Can we do multiple times? What are the best times to do it?
See, you will have to observe your body clock. We cannot clearly say, this is good time. It all depends on what you have been doing throughout the day. Because our, daily routines are different. Somebody is there who is physically working hard. So he needs a lot of body rest. So maybe he will sleep up to 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Why? Because the body needs rest. And the mind is also stressed, worried, tensed. A lot of rest is needed for such people. To the extent your mind becomes quiet, the amount of rest you need is very less. because you are not exhausting your energies. So you will have to find out which is good for you, which time is good for you. And of course your job also. Some people work, night shift. So to tell them to meditate at Brahma Muhurta. Otherwise, normally, they say 3:34 is a good time. Provided you sleep early. You sleep at 12 o'clock and then 4 o'clock if you get up, you will sleep. It will be Brahma Muhurta. Understood? So you will have to do trial and error upon your body. And also, it depends on what you ate last night. If you eat heavily, then again it becomes difficult. So there are so many aspects which you will have to take into account before deciding what is the best time for me to meditate. Okay.
Pranam Swamiji. I like to understand by comparing conditioning and practice. So I understand conditioning is a trap, makes mind dull, and makes us to go on autopilot. Is practice also a kind of conditioning and makes the mind dull and not allowed to have an open mind?
So the question is, whatever we are discussing in the scriptures, is it conditioning? Correct? See, to know fire as hot, is it conditioning? It is knowledge, isn't it? In the same way, to know myself as Satchidananda, it is not conditioning, it is knowledge. What is the proof? The proof is, when I walk the path of scriptures, I experience it without doubt. If it is mere conditioning, the same experience cannot happen for so many people. Because it is reality, all the Mahatmas are experiencing the same thing, irrespective of religion, caste, creed, nationality, gender, etc. Everybody says, yes, what is said in the scripture is right because it is my experience. So in the beginning, it may appear to be like conditioning, but slowly as you evolve, you start experiencing it in your own bosom. So that experience of the reality proves that it is not conditioning, it is reality. As I told you, spirituality is all about experience, it is not about information. Direct experience. In fact, conditioning is more of a play of mind. Whenever you say conditioning, it is all about mind. Yes or no? Wrong notions of the mind. Here, you are effacing the mind. You are silencing the mind. Mind has no role. You are witnessing the mind. You are destroying the mind. In conditioning, mind has all the role to play. Here, mind has no role to play. So who will condition whom? Clear? Right. So fine, so time is up. We'll sing a bhajan. We'll sing a bhajan and wind up. Auspicious beginning and an auspicious end. Gurudevaya namo namo. He Parameshwara namo namo. Gurudevaya namo namo. Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara Rupa Trimurti Rupa namo namo. Trilokanatha namo namo. त्रिगुणातीता नमो नमो। गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो। भावातीता भाग्यविधाता भवभयहरणा नमो नमो। आनन्दरूपा नमो नमो। चिन्मयरूपा नमो नमो। गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो। हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो। गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो। गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की। ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।